welcome to Astro Reads with AMZN. I am AMZN, and today we are going to be doing the new moon in Leo reading. It is also the Lionsgate portal coming up tomorrow, the peak of the Lionsgate portal. It actually started, I want to say, like a couple weeks ago or like last week, but now we are at the peak of the Lionsgate portal with the sun in Leo and the moon being in Leo. So I just want to start off first with some of the astrology here before we get into the actual tarot readings. I have my notes here. Let me consult my notes. All right, okay. So for those that aren't aware of what the Lionsgate portal is, it happens every year. And its peak is always on 8/8, right? So it always happens during Leo season. And this is when the star Sirius is aligned with the Earth, right? And then this also aligns Orion with the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. So there's a lot of very powerful cosmic energy happening right now. The reason why August 8th is the peak of this portal is because if we're looking into the numerology, right, 8 is an extremely powerful number. You know, it's infinite. It's whatever you put in, you receive, and vice versa. So, you know, definitely emphasis on karma here, but it's really about bringing in abundance, setting new intentions for yourself, starting new projects, really capitalizing on, and I don't even want to use that word, really collaborating with the energy of the universe, with the energy of spirit, to bring forth the things that you really want to come to fruition in your life. Bring forth those manifestations, bring forth that healing, that abundance and prosperity, right? This is also activation for our higher consciousness as well. Like I said, this is a lot of very potent energy that we'll be working with, and that we're being exposed to. And this can bring up a lot of things too when it's time for us to, you know, start ascending into higher consciousness and you know, tapping into our higher self. It's not always the most comfortable, right? So during this process, emotions can be coming up. You know, you might be discovering some things that have, you know, transpired in your life that you're looking in a new way, or that you're seeing in a new way, and it's kind of putting the pieces together for you, and it'll allow you to release certain things as well, so that you can clear space and bring in that abundance. So some of the aspects that are happening with this new moon and with this Lionsgate portal, right? So the moon is going to be in conjunction with the sun. So, you know, definitely just standing firm in our authentic selves, who we are, right? Leo is ruled by the sun. So this energy is just very much tapping into what is our, like, essence, you know, who are we at our core, right? What keeps us going every day? You know, what are we living for? Tapping into that, understanding what that means for ourselves. And so with the Leo sun and the Leo moon, you know, here in alignment with Sirius and opening this Lionsgate portal, there's also some things that are like I said, definitely going to come up that might not be as comfortable, that maybe addresses some pain, some trauma, some things that are still having an effect on you now, that happened to you in the past and you didn't realize it before, but now it's coming to light and you're just like, what? Right? So the moon is opposing, the moon is going to be opposing Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn's retrograding in Aquarius right now, and Leo and Aquarius are opposite signs. So, you know, Saturn is the co-ruler of Aquarius, and Saturn is about limits, but it's also about structure, order, discipline, karma, like I was saying, and understanding what foundations are necessary for you to build on in the long term, especially. So being that Aquarius is in its is placed in its home ruling planet, there is definitely a lot of energy towards like how the work you do, or how your limits, or how the discipline that you have for yourself also affects your community, also affects others around you. How does that bring people together? How is the structures or boundaries or whatever that you have for yourself, how does that also maybe set you apart from people and bring up more differences that you have with others? And what does that look like in terms of community? How can you use those differences, use your limits, use discipline as a way to understand how to be there for each other and be there for yourself? But also, because Leo and Aquarius are both fixed signs, you don't want to get caught up in your own way of doing things. You don't want to be really kind of like immovable and non-receptive to just different ideologies, different ways of being, different ways of doing things. That doesn't mean that you're going to take that on, but having that receptive energy towards it will allow you to just learn and understand how other people live compared to you, how other people carry out their purpose without you having to do it that way, or without you having to impose how you do things onto others. Okay, so definitely keep in mind about that, especially in regards to work, in regards to your legacy and what you are trying to set up for yourself in the long term, your family, all of that. The moon is also going to be squaring Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus is Aquarius's other ruler. But because they're going to be because the moon and Uranus are going to be squaring each other, you might be feeling some tension in regards to changes that are coming towards you, and especially in regards to personal finance, what you spend your money on, what you enjoy, your leisures, things like that. So things might be coming up where you see like maybe you have to change your spending habits. Again, maybe you have to pivot into something different as far as work goes, or make different investments, or just understand your relationship with money and release maybe a lack mentality that you could be holding on to still, or overindulgence, things of that nature. So that might be coming up as well with the moon squaring Uranus, and it can kind of feel a little erratic. Your head might be spinning a little bit, right? Because Uranus is the planet of ideology, like new ideology. It kind of comes in fast and quick and almost hits you over the head sometimes. So you might be feeling the rumblings of change in regards to money, your relationship with money, your relationship with yourself, as far as what do you find enjoyable, what do you bring into your what is leisurely for you, what do you like to what brings you joy, right? Those things may be changing. You might be realizing certain things don't align anymore, and you have to release those things, but you're comfortable with those things as well. So those are some of the tensions that may come up with Uranus and the moon squaring each other. And then lastly, there is going to be a trine to Chiron. So Chiron is an asteroid, and it is currently retrograding in Aries. Chiron is known as the wounded healer in Greek mythology. Basically the person that saves everyone else besides themselves. But when we look at Chiron in our charts, we can understand the ways that we may what's the word I'm looking for? God dang. The ways that we may receive trauma but it also can show us the ways that we can heal that trauma. And so with the moon doing a trine to Chiron, retrograding in Aries, Aries is a cardinal fire sign, right? So feeling very motivated to put in this work, do this shadow work, right? Also, you know, you might be coming into terms with maybe some issues that you have with your body or with your physical form, like with physical activity. You know, if some of you are disabled or have different abilities, coming to terms with certain things about where you're at and how to adapt and adjust to those things will definitely be coming up as well. But it's good that this trine is happening, because that means this portal is an excellent time, or the peak of this portal is an excellent time to really do that deep shadow work, to really start releasing these deeper traumas, acknowledging them and releasing them, allowing yourself to feel them and being honest with yourself about what you've been through, how it may be affecting you still, and the ways that you need to release this or let this go. So keep in mind all of these things as we approach this new moon and approach the peak of this portal. Some things to consider as well, your heart chakra, right? Leo rules the heart, and because the sun and the moon are going to be in Leo, definitely going to be feeling, you know, if there's blockages, you're going to feel those, and this is the opportunity to clear them, right? If you're developing random tension in your chest, if it feels tight, if it's been feeling tight lately and it normally doesn't for you, you know, if you find yourself in more situations where, you know, you feel your heart speaking to you, you know, that's a time for activation. It's a time for clearance of your heart chakra. So definitely do that work. If you're into crystals, you know, rose quartz is great with that. Fluorite, green fluorite or rainbow fluorite is great for that. Malachite, it's very potent, but it definitely can help clear your heart chakra space as well. And then also your third eye chakra, right? Because the moon is about emotions. This new moon, right? This is us planting new seeds, allowing us to receive certain things, allowing us to feel certain things. So heightening our intuition is definitely another great thing to focus on during the height of this portal. You know, it can help with clearing any intuitive fog that you're feeling, you know, because Neptune is also still retrograding in Pisces right now. So there might still be some things that you're unsure of, but setting intentions and doing this releasing during this new moon can definitely help you to trust your intuition more, clear some of that fog out of the way, so you can really see what's going on here, and learning how to just trust yourself a little bit more as well. You know, you might be receiving some more downloads for the folks that are a little bit more tapped into their gifts. You're definitely going to be feeling and hearing and seeing more things. Downloads are definitely going to be coming in. I've been getting them, so be aware for those to really start pouring in, and take the time to sit with whatever faith that you practice. Sit with your spirit team, meditate, do what you got to do, and just connect with yourself, connect with spirit, connect with the universe, and allow yourself to just feel and tap into your emotions, tap into the ways that, you know, you want to fill yourself up. Tap into the things that are aligning with you, and don't be afraid to release those things that no longer align, even if they're comfortable and even if you're familiar with it and you know what to expect. That's not always a good thing, and you're doing yourself a disservice by staying complacent. So don't stay complacent, and embrace the change, embrace the feelings, whatever is coming up, and do your best to release what no longer serves you and embrace what you would like to come into your life. Okay, so let's breathe. Now we're going to get started on these tarot readings, okay? And I'm going to start with the earth signs first. So, let's get into it. Okay, so earth signs, you're up first. So we're going to be doing a 3-card spread. We're going to be doing a 3-card spread, and the questions will be, what do we need to release during this new moon? What do we need to embrace? And how can we be our authentic selves more, right? Because that's what Leo is all about, you know, being who you are boldly and brightly, and not allowing anybody to dim your light because maybe theirs isn't shining so bright, you know? So let's definitely get into it. I'm going to start with the Spellcaster's Tarot deck. I have selenite here with me, you know, to just keep everything cleansed and charged up. Okay. Then I have labradorite here. This is great for opening your throat chakra, which I feel like a lot of people are going to be doing, especially after this portal. You know, and Leo, like I said, we're in Leo season. Be bold, be bright, be loud, right? And this is also good for your third eye chakra, helping to clear any fog, helping to just enhance your intuition more. Also, I think it's good with like dreams and stuff too. And then we have good old hematite here. This is excellent for grounding, which is always important to do, especially when it comes to spiritual ascension, and understanding, you know, higher consciousness, tapping into extrasensory gifts. Grounding is necessary and important, but this is also great just to keep negative energy away from you and to send any ill will or malicious intent back to its sender, right? That's why it's nice and shiny like that. It reflects, so it sends it right back to the hater that sent it, okay? So, earth signs. Let's get into it. We'll start with Capricorns first. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, of course. Let me see here. Okay. What do Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus need to release for this Leo new moon and the Lionsgate portal? Ooh. Okay. What do Capricorns need to release? Okay. What do Capricorns need to embrace? Okay. And how can Capricorns be their authentic selves? Okay. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Yes. Okay. So, the first card that came up and what Capricorns, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus need to release is self-limiting beliefs with the 8 of Swords here. Okay? And being a Capricorn stellium, I can absolutely tell you that, yes, you know, Saturn, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, we are very aware of our limitations and very aware of what I guess stands in our way. And a lot of the time, sometimes we get stuck there. We get stuck in our limits. We get stuck in maybe our obstacles and understanding that it's there and that is something to overcome. But when we get stuck there, then, you know, that makes it hard to make any actual moves. It makes it hard to believe in what we do and believe in what we think and have that faith in ourselves. So release self-limiting beliefs, right? Stand boldly in your ideas, stand boldly in what you believe, but that doesn't mean be non-receptive. This is about this is where understanding boundaries is very important, and understanding how you can limit yourself when you're not receptive in those ways. And so when you get trapped in your own obstacles, and recognizing that you're feeling the way that you do, and you're putting these limits on yourself, that's when we're in that mode where we're not being receptive, because all we can see is our struggle, all we can see is our limits, or all we're doing is placing these limits on ourselves. So let go of those. Okay, now what you need to embrace here, we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. So with the Knight of Wands, I feel like this is encouraging to embrace spontaneity. Again, Capricorn, because that Saturn rulership, we're just ready, order, structure, we need it all the time, plan, right? But obviously life doesn't happen that way, and it's very important, and it's an excellent skill and attribute to know how to roll with the punches too. And so that is what I feel with this Knight of Wands in reverse is saying here. Embrace spontaneity a little bit more. Be a little bit more, just a sprinkle more impulsive about some things. You're not always going to have the answer for how something is going to turn out. I also feel like this is about kind of just letting go of results, like needing for things to turn out exactly how you saw it, right? Because that doesn't happen sometimes either. And again, we have to roll with those punches. So embrace a little bit more spontaneity, and remember that it's okay that you don't know everything. You don't know how everything is going to turn out. And it's okay that you can't control everything. Because honestly, that's a lot of work, and it's exhausting. Who wants to do that all day long? And then you have no time for yourself or addressing what you're feeling or anything like that, because you're trying to make sure everything else is exactly in place where it needs to be, this, that, and the third. Okay? And then how to be our more authentic selves, right? We have Temperance here in reverse. So you may have Sag placements as well. This is Sag's card. You may have Sag placements as well. Be your authentic self by remembering to be there for yourself, right? Again, because we can get so caught up in our limits, we forget how to be there for ourselves, because now we're beating ourselves up about these limits that we have, and now we don't know what to do, and blah blah. It just spirals. Let me tell you, it just spirals. So feed yourself that help and that compassion that you often give to others, and remember that it's okay to leave something, to let go of something, if it's not aligning with you, if it's not helping you on your path to your healing or journey. Oh, gross. If it's not helping you on your path to your healing, if the people around you aren't uplifting you in the ways that you need, if that job isn't fulfilling you the way that you need it to, don't be afraid to quit. Like Scotty Beam said, don't be afraid to quit when it doesn't align, because you're not quitting yourself, but you're quitting that toxicity. You're quitting that self-destruction, and pouring back into yourself love. That's really what you want. You're pouring that love back into yourself, and that will spill out into other ways. It'll spill out into your career, it'll spill out into your relationships, it'll spill out into your business, all of that stuff. So remember that, Capricorn. Okay? And be patient with the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Not everything happens on your time. So just be patient and allow things to unfold. And in those downtimes where you feel like, oh, I don't know, I can't do anything, I'm kind of stuck right now, look back at what you've done. Look at where you've brought yourself to this point, and know that this is not the only point that you will be at. This is just a pause. This is allowing for things to unfold and grow. Okay, Cappy? Okay. Taurus next. Let's see. Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do you all need to release during this new moon? Excuse me. I feel like I'm always burping when I'm reading for Taurus. Excuse me. You know, Taurus rules the throat. Y'all love food too, you know, being ruled by Venus, comfort, luxury, aesthetics, beauty, all of that stuff. You and Libra are very, very good at luxury, along with Leo, right? So let's see, what does Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus need to release? Overthinking. Because I'm feeling some pressure on my head right now, and it hurts. Overthinking. Something is stressing y'all. Something is just really on your mind. Let's see. What does Taurus need to release during this new moon? That's a lot. And I'm actually just going to take this first card. I'm just going to take this first card that came out. Okay. What does Taurus need to embrace? Interesting. And how can Taurus be their most authentic self? All right. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So, interesting. The first card that came out here for what needs to be released, you showed up. The Hierophant here. Sometimes, Taurus, it's very easy for you to stay where it feels good, to maintain a status quo for yourself that works because you know it works and it's been working, and you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. But, you know, sometimes you have to allow yourself to just do something different. Not necessarily because it's a pressing matter or anything like that, but especially in those moments where it's something that is necessary for you to grow, or you're trying to elevate in a certain way, or there's things that you want for yourself in your life. It requires changes. It requires, you know, an analysis of what's going on with you, and what you can do to bring about these changes in your life. And sometimes you stick too closely to your own status quo, or to the ways that things are done. If you're like an entrepreneur, or just anybody with a trade or a craft, sometimes you can get caught in, well, this is how I've done things, or this is the way that I always do things. And sometimes that can keep you at a certain level and stop you from being able to bring in those things that you want for yourself. So make sure you consider that when you are finding yourself being stubborn about things, or find yourself resisting certain changes or whatever. Take time and figure out why you're resisting first, and then allow yourself to release that so you can make those changes, or so that you can bring to fruition what it is that you want to bring to fruition. Okay? And what you need to embrace is also very interesting here with the Queen of Swords. I feel like this is just directness, right? Sometimes you will literally go silent and disappear and not say anything, or hold things in. Open up and say something. Be direct about what you have to say. You know, the Queen of Swords isn't necessarily someone that goes on and on and on and on about something. The Queen of Swords can be defensive at times as well. So recognize when you're being defensive and not wanting to say something, or you are saying something, but again, you're in defensive mode. So now you're being kind of harsh, right? Embrace being direct, but do so with compassion. Okay? Don't be afraid or try to control how someone else is going to react to you or what you're saying. And speak your truth, speak your boundaries, let it be known what it is that you're feeling, what you need, what you're missing, all of that stuff, because it can't change unless you act, right? So speak up for yourself more, be more direct. Don't beat around the bush, and don't be afraid of, or I'm not going to say don't be afraid, because fear is necessary, but don't allow that fear to stop you from speaking up for yourself. Don't stand in your own way that way. Okay? And how to be yourself more authentically, again, speak up. You think a lot of things, you keep a lot of things inside. With the Page of Swords here, this is just encouraging you to not be afraid to say what you're thinking, not be afraid to share ideas, not be afraid to exchange energy with folks in that way, and talk and communicate and learn, right? Because that's how you'll learn as well. Have more faith. That's funny. Have more faith in in what you believe. Have more faith in your thoughts and in your ideas, because they do matter too. You know, I feel like that's where that comes from. Not feeling like you feel like your ideas don't matter, or people don't listen to you, or that you're not worthy of being heard. That's not true. Okay? I'm here to tell you that. Not true. And at the bottom of the deck here, we have the Queen of Pentacles. See? So when you take the time to do these things, your abundance is going to come right on in. That stability that you want is going to come right on in, and it will be elevated, and you'll be at a new level, and you'll feel secure in the new space that you're in, and you'll be able to give back in the ways that you want to as well. Okay? It's going to be all right, Taurus. Alrighty. So, Virgo, let's see what's going on with you for this Lionsgate portal. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do Virgos need to release during this new moon? What do Virgos, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus need to release during this new moon? Okay. What do Virgos need to embrace during this new moon? And how can Virgo be their more authentic self? Of course. Alrighty. Interesting. Alright. Let's see. Alrighty. So, what you need to release for this new moon, we have the Seven of Cups here. So I feel like this is just I feel like you need to release doubting your intuition. A lot of the time, Virgo, I feel like because you're not able to physically or tangibly see or understand in a logical manner how something is coming to be, you don't believe it, and so you're questioning it and waiting to see, or trying to figure out how it's going to work, and keeping yourself in certain situations, or keeping yourself around certain people because you don't trust your intuition as much as you need to, because you do be right and you know you're right, but I'm not gonna say always, it sometimes comes after something has blown up, or after what you felt, you let it come to pass, which meant it was at your expense, right? So release doubting your intuition. Release outside influence as well, right? Needing to get validation from outside of yourself, because that creates intuitive fog, right? Because now you're not hearing yourself, you're not feeling your body and what your body is telling you. You're hearing what everyone else is saying. You're feeling what everyone else is telling you to feel, or telling you what you should feel, or whatever. So release that, okay? And what is good to embrace for this new moon is, with this 9 of Pentacles here, is this independence. Now, that's not to say that you're not independent. We all know that Virgos are very independent. But this type of independence is like you understanding what your definition for things are for yourself. So that means like your self-worth. That means the type of work you want to do. That means what you want for your family. That means all of those things, right? Truly embrace what those things are for you, what you define them as, not what you're holding on to, what was told to you as a child, or what your friends are saying you should be doing, or what your family is saying where your family is saying you need to be in your life right now, right? You determine that for yourself. Embrace determining that for yourself a lot more, because then this again requires you to trust yourself. It requires you to listen to yourself, to feel yourself and feel your feelings, because it's you. This is what you are building for yourself. Okay? And then after that, how to just embrace yourself more authentically, to be yourself more authentically. We have the 10 of Wands in reverse here. So, for me, this is like a boundaries card. Say no when you want to say no. Stop saying yes when you want to say no. Okay? Like, if you can't handle something, if you don't have the space for something, that's okay. And you have to be okay with admitting that to yourself. You have to be okay with disappointing people sometimes, because it's just going to happen. They're not going to be okay with you choosing yourself first in certain respects. And that's on them, right? You can only do but so much. And you have to be real with yourself about your capacity for things, right? You have to be real about yourself, or real with yourself about what you are willing to allow to take up space in your life, and how much space it's going to take. And it's important that you take the time to do that for yourself, because before you know it, now there's all of these things taking up space in your life, and there's no space for you. There's no space for what you need and what you require, what you would like, what you desire. Bars. Okay? Like, being yourself authentically is saying no when you want to say no, saying yes when you want to say yes, allowing your feelings to come through, and not seeking for someone else to be responsible for it, not taking on other people's responsibilities as your own, okay? Because you have to be here with you. You have to feel yourself. You have to hear yourself, so that you can know what it is that you need for real, and so that you can provide it for yourself, right? So that you can give that to yourself. Okay? Earthies. Oh, let me look at the bottom of the deck here too. Yeah, we have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. So if you've been distracted, or if you haven't been, just honing in on your skills and crafts, doing the things that you like to do, right? Like, if you haven't been doing that, get back into it, okay? Because it's for you, and that's what you like to do. It's your interest, it's your talents, it's your skills. So do this for yourself, right? We are in Leo season here. You, like, do that for yourself, okay? So thank you, Earthies, for tuning on in. We're gonna slide on over to the fire signs next, and I hope that these messages resonate with you. Okay, so now we're on to fire signs, and I will start with Leo first because it's your season. So let's see. Lots of Leo energy. What's going on for y'all? What does Leo Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus need to release during this new moon? Let's see. Ooh. What does Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus need to release during this new moon? Ooh. Let's see. Okay. All right. What does Leo need to embrace? Okay. And how can Leo be their authentic selves more? Interesting. Okay. So, the first card that came out here as far as what you need to release is the King of Pentacles in reverse. This is, and I think it's just really funny. This is kind of with most fixed, or if not all fixed signs, like being too set in your own ways. And like, I said, because we're in Leo season, right? You're especially feeling this right now. And, there's nothing wrong with being yourself and being who you are and standing firm in that. But that doesn't mean to turn off your reception. And sometimes, Leo, I feel like you sometimes do that when you feel challenged, when you feel like someone's insulting your intelligence, which is fair, or when someone is just showing a different way of doing things that may be more efficient, that may be faster, that may produce the same result, but again, it's just done in a different way. But because you are comfortable with how you do things, what you believe, what you think, what you say, it's hard to have that exchange of information. But also, I feel like this is just like, don't hold on to anything longer than you need to, right? Especially when it comes to money, when it comes to possessions, working. Like if you're in a job and you hate it and it's just like, it's literally draining you, but you're staying because stability and this and that, like you have to ask yourself, is that worth it? Because what good is stability if you're miserable? What good is stability if you hate having to wake up and go to this place every day, or to clock in, or whatever the case may be, right? What good is that if you're not enjoying the process to get there? Or you're not enjoying what you're doing to provide this stability for yourself. So like I said, consider the ways that, you may still be stuck in your ways when it comes to like how you do things, when it comes to the ways that, setting some of your foundations, your job, what you spend your money on. I also feel like, release lack. If you've been feeling lacking, and that's where, again, not wanting to be receptive, or not being able to just exchange different information with folks, or have these differences with folks, that's where the difficulty comes in, and that can block money, right? That can block abundance, that can block opportunities for you. So you definitely don't want to do that either. So make sure that you are staying in line with what you want for yourself and what it takes to receive those things. There's certain things that you have to let go. There's certain sacrifices that you have to make, and changes that you have to adapt to. So Don't hold on to anything longer than you need to, and don't stand in your own way that way. Okay? Right, because like I was just saying, what you need to embrace with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse here is, those changes that come to foundational things, like to the fundamentals, like certain things just don't align anymore. What you thought you wanted for yourself changes, it changes as you grow, as you learn. What you want your legacy to be, what you want it to leave for your family, all of that shifts, the more that you grow. And the more that you learn about yourself and about where you want to be in your life. So you have to embrace that change. You have to embrace, maybe redoing a foundation, setting new bricks, laying out new groundwork for yourself because of these changes, because things no longer align, or because new things are aligning, and it requires shifts. It requires adaptation. So allow yourself to do that. Allow for things to change. Okay? And being your more authentic self. We have the Page of Wands in reverse here. So I feel like this is about, like, being honest about those times when maybe you aren't feeling so cheery inside, or when you aren't feeling inspired, or when you feel like your light isn't shining as brightly as you would like for it to. Because people like to say that Leos are vain and blah, 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 and some of them are, and that's okay, right? But a lot of the times too, I feel like with fire signs in general, being that energy in the room all the time can be exhausting, and sometimes you just don't feel that way, but people are expecting that of you. And so then you might put on the facade like, yeah, feeling great, but with people who are closer to you, you're like, yeah, no, I don't feel that great. So be honest about those times when you don't feel that great. And just don't pretend to be that energy in the room if that's not how you're feeling. Don't deny the insecurities that are coming up for you, right? Because when you deny them, then that turns into, lashing out at people, impulsive decisions and behaviors, vanity, overindulgence, all of those things. So be honest with yourself about those moments when maybe you're not feeling so hot, and maybe you're not feeling as inspired, as you would like. And take the time to work through those things before going and, being that energy in the room for people. Be that energy in the room for yourself first. Right? Yeah, because we have the Knight of Wands in reverse at the bottom of the deck too. So it's like, just when you can address what's happening, as far as the ways that your actions are either hindering you or helping you, and you can be honest about those things, that's how you can be your authentic self as well. That's how you can release what no longer serves you. That's how you can practice letting go and detachment, and being able to embrace changes, being able to embrace the unknown, and allowing things to just kind of flow as they come. Okay, Leos? It's going to be okay. It's your season. Alright, so let's do Sag next. Sag. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do you need to release during this new moon? Let's see. What do you need to release during this new moon? does Sag need to embrace? Okay. And how can Sag be more of their authentic self? All right. That's interesting. Okay, so the first card that came out here for what you need to release is emotions, right? With the Four of Cups here. Sag does a really great job of compartmentalizing. But then sometimes that emotion, that pain, that whatever that got compartmentalized doesn't get attention. And so when those things don't get attention, now we're having these kind of like subconscious things controlling our emotions. So with the Four of Cups here, Sag, release that need to just tuck away your feelings, right? Release that need to just escape from whatever it is that you're feeling and do stuff to distract yourself from what's coming up for you, right? Because that is getting in the way of not just your emotional growth, but it gets in the way of you understanding yourself and understanding why these emotions make you feel the way that they do, or why you're still holding on to this feeling or this pain or whatever the case may be. You know, you might have some Cancer placements here too. 4 is, you know, the number of foundation and structure, as far as, you know, build in numerology, as far as like building up yourself. Like, this is about foundation and structure, but also sometimes just holding on too tightly to things. So in regards to emotion, like if you're holding on to pain from your childhood, if you're holding on to pain from maternal relationships or relationships with those who identify as women or feminine energies, like, it's time to address those things so that you can release them, because they are still having an effect on your actions, right? And that's what this Knight of Wands here on the side for what you need to embrace is kind of saying here. Like, understanding your motivations for your actions can help and bring about more discernment for where you're putting your energy and why you're putting your energy there. So you are at a turning point right now, Sag, where you are recognizing where your intentions are rooted and what's been affecting the actions behind your intentions. Okay, so embrace that. Embrace that action, being intentional. Embrace what you need to do to release. That means whatever changes you need to make. That means acknowledging your emotions and also communicating what's happening, being real with yourself about those things. That is the action that needs to be taken first before anything else can follow, before anything else can happen, right? Because right after that, we have for the ways that you can be your authentic self more, you have to recognize when you're putting the carriage before the horse, right? With the Chariot here in reverse. Like I was saying, you might have Cancer placements. This is Cancer's card right here. Ooh, my leg is falling asleep. You have to recognize when you're getting ahead of yourself in those ways, when you're overwhelmed when you aren't being responsible with your actions and what needs to be done, and the emotions behind that, right? The intentions behind that. Where is that coming from? Why aren't you doing what you need to do? Why are you trying to escape? Where's that coming from, right? That will allow you to be okay with being an emotional person. That'll allow you to be okay with feeling your feelings. We're all emotional people, meaning we have emotions for the most part, right? Outside of like disorders and things like that. We have emotions. They do inform us and they do tell us things, and it's important that we allow them to come through, because that is information for ourselves, not just emotionally, but physically, right? Our emotions just aren't like these things that are just floating around. Like, we have hormones that are triggered by these emotions as well, and that puts our bodies in a certain energy and all of that stuff. So remember that this is how you're training yourself. This is how you're programming yourself for real. And in order to do that, you have to be able to see things, and you have to be able to look and shine a light on what is working, what's not working, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be removed, all of that. Okay, Sag? Yeah, because at the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Wands. So, you're going to be that light that you always are and always want to be, right? It's just about being real about those moments when you're not feeling like that light, being real about what you're holding on to that is holding you back, being real about what you can and can't do, what you do and don't have space for. All of those things can help you to be your more authentic self and show up as you are, so you don't have to perform for people, or feel like nobody knows the real you, because you deserve to be yourself. We all deserve to be ourselves. Okay, Sag? Okay. Lastly, let's do Aries. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What's going on for you, Aries, with this new moon? What do you all need to release? What does Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus need to release during this new moon? Okay. What does Aries need to embrace? Oh, okay. And how can Aries be more of their authentic self? Interesting. I say that about everything. But it is interesting. All right. Okay. So the first card that came out here was the Empress. So this is, I feel like, I can't remember what sign it's representative of, but definitely like Venusian energy. So like Taurus and Libra here. You might have those placements, or you might be dealing with someone with those placements. The Empress is typically a great energy to be in. This is fertile energy, very much creative in this space where, you're bringing things to life. Very intuitive as well. I feel like I'm a little stumped here. I feel like this is telling you to release the notion that you can't kind of be in this energy, right? That you have to be like always just like on go, this very tough, super like driven, nonstop, tunnel vision type of energy, right? The Emperor is Aries card. So the Empress comes right before the Emperor. And because like I said, this is very much Venusian energy, so that is feminine or receptive energy. So release the notion that you can't embody this energy also, right? You do have feelings, and it's okay to acknowledge them. It's okay to be like, yes, I feel this way, and not just try to kind of bulldoze through them, but sit with them, right? You have the power to do that. So release this notion that you can't embody this more receptive energy, that you're not supposed to feel your feelings or whatever the case may be, because you are, because you have feelings, they're there, they affect you, and doing so, acknowledging your feelings and doing so can also bring you to a space of this fertility of ideas, creation, intuition, just being more confident about what you want to provide for yourself and bring into your world, right? And as far as what you need to embrace, which I find really interesting, like this spread is interesting, which I find pretty interesting, is the Knight of Wands in reverse. I feel like this Knight of Wands in reverse is more so saying like to, yes, be spontaneous, and to, kind of go with the flow of things, but to also not simply act for the sake of doing something, right? Sometimes I feel like Aries, you just need to be doing something to feel like you're doing something, right? And again, it's okay to be more receptive. It's okay to sit. It's okay not to immediately go and act and do, right? It's okay. So I feel like this is asking you to continue to embrace spontaneity and all of those things, but also embrace being more intentional and not needing to constantly be moving, constantly be doing, constantly be on the go about something, right? Because that makes it hard to see, that makes it hard to feel and know how you may be affecting others. And that is important because you have relationships, when we interact with people, that's exchanging of energy and all of that stuff. So it's just important to be aware of the ways that you affect others as well. So embrace that a little bit more. And then lastly, how to be your authentic self a little bit more. Again, a lot of like feeling kind of things coming up. We have the Eight of Cups in reverse here. There are things that, may still be having an effect on you, emotions that still may be having an effect on you that you maybe thought you resolved because you kind of bulldozed through them, or you were working super hard and just kind of like whatever, or you had maybe an initial like knee-jerk reaction and now you think you're done, but it's still kind of affecting you in deeper ways. Like I said, you have feelings, and it's okay that you have feelings, and sometimes you have to revisit these things. There is probably something that you need to revisit on a deeper level that is affecting you in a certain way, and doing that for yourself, again, allows you to show up as you are, to where you don't have to be this super driven, super determined, aggressive, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's okay to be softer. It's okay to feel things and allow those feelings to come through. Okay, Aries? Yeah, because at the bottom of the deck, you might be dealing with some abandonment issues. with the Five of Pentacles here, those might be coming up, or that might still be having an effect on you, and because you haven't given yourself the space to be in this receptive energy, you're not feeling it, or you're not understanding that connection. But you might be dealing with some abandonment issues that might be coming back up, that might still be affecting you in certain ways. So take the time to sit with yourself. You might be also dealing with like scarcity or lack. Understand how that affects your actions and the choices that you make, and do more for yourself to feel out these feelings first before you go and do something about it. Okay, Aries. Thank you, fire signs. I hope these messages resonate with you. And, then we're going to go head over to the water signs. Hello, water signs. Let's get right into it. All right, we're going to start with Scorpio first. Let's see what's going on with you all for this new moon. What does Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus need to release for this new moon, or during this new moon? What do Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus need to release during this new moon? Let's see. Just gonna cut the cards real quick. Okay. What does Scorpio need to release during this new moon? Not surprising. What does Scorpio need to embrace? Okay. And how can Scorpio be their more authentic self? Okay, let's see. So, Scorpio, the first card that came out here for what you need to release, the Ten of Wands. Release burdens that are not yours. Release anything in your life that is taking up space that is not yours, and it's at your expense, right? So it's draining you. It's taking away time from yourself. It's literally not your problem, right? But you've made it yours. Release that, okay? I always say with Scorpio, just because you have this super high tolerance for stress or pain or whatever the case may be, does not mean that it needs to be that way. If something can be simpler, it's okay to do it the simple way. Like, you don't have to go through hell and high water for everything. And you have to realize when you are making yourself do that, okay? Because it's just really stressful, and it causes so many issues for yourself, because now you're not tending to yourself. And when you don't tend to yourself, that means you're not listening to yourself. That means you're not trusting yourself as much, and you're looking outside of yourself for answers. You're looking outside of yourself for control. And that's something that comes from within. Okay? So be aware of the ways that you make things difficult for yourself. When you make things your problem and they don't have to be, and they're literally not your problem, let those things go. Let it go. Yes, you may not know what's going to happen after that, but what you do know what's going to happen in the moment is that you will be free. And that is what's important, your freedom, okay? Because that's what I feel like the star here is saying for you to embrace. The star is here in reverse. This is Aquarius's card, so you may have Aquarius placements. Like I was saying before, Saturn is retrograding in Aquarius, as is Jupiter. So this is also why, the star is popping up. But you need to embrace pouring into yourself more. When the star is in reverse, this means you're not pouring into yourself. And you are also and because of that, you're feeling isolated and you're not having your connection with community and the people around you and things of that nature. Therefore, showing up for the people in your life also is just as hard as showing up for yourself, or you're exhausting yourself, right? So embrace showing up for yourself. Embrace understanding the ways that what's happening outside of you affects you, and embrace the ways that you need to release those things, okay? Because everything that you feel is not yours, and you know that as well. And a part of knowing what's yours and what's not yours is being able to identify what you've taken on that came from outside of you, what you've taken on that was not defined by you, right? And the ways that maybe who you are around right now, or what you are involved with right now, isn't watering you. So you also can't water yourself, right? Embrace being real with yourself about what is not fulfilling you. Embrace being real with yourself about the ways that what's happening around you does affect you. And don't be afraid, or try your best not to isolate yourself because of that, and instead reach out to your tribe, reach out to your community, and see who else can help you through this process, who else can be a listening ear or a guide for you, you know, and can align with you on that level, so that you don't feel isolated, so that you do know that you are supported and you have community that will pour into you. So now you can pour back into yourself and pour back into them. Okay? And again, with we got the Chariot here. You might have Cancer placements, or you might be, you know, dealing with someone or working closely with people that have Cancer placements. This came up for Sagittarius too, I believe. Putting the carriage before the horse. Like, you know, there are certain things that you do have to do first before you can move on, before you can move forward, right? There are things that have to be done for that to occur. And addressing, you know, what you're feeling, addressing your boundaries, addressing what needs to go, what you need to embrace, all of that stuff is necessary before you can move on to your next steps, before you can make your next decisions, before you can embark on your next thing. You know, you have to check in with yourself in these ways so that you can move forward to where you would like to be. Okay? Yeah, because at the bottom of the deck we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse, and you know, this is just feeling like you're not able to manage all of these things, right? Feeling like you're not able to make the best decisions for yourself, or some things are falling through the cracks because there's just too much going on right now. So make sure you're checking in with yourself and taking the time to go through these things so that you can balance the things that you need to balance, so that you can hold up all the things that you're dealing with and do so confidently. Okay, Scorpios. Oh boy, it's gonna be alright, Scorpio. You know, lessons in control. We all need lessons in control, and those happen every day. So be more aware of the ways that those show up, and don't be afraid of that, okay? So, Cancer. What's going on for you? Let's see. Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do you need to release during this new moon? What do you need to release during this new moon? Oops. Okay. What does Cancer need to release during this new moon? What do Cancers need to embrace? Okay. And how can Cancers be their more authentic selves? Ooh, 2 cards came out. Okay, we'll take those. All right. So what came up for what you need to release is you're probably in a place of mourning right now, whether this be mourning the actual death of somebody or grief coming back about that person. This could also be heartbreak, coming out of a relationship. This could be losing friends. This can be losing work. Any type of loss, grief, kind of like heartbreaking emotions that are popping up. Allow them to come through, right? With the 3 of Swords here. Like I said at the beginning of this video, heart chakra work is definitely a great thing to do during this Lionsgate portal. And Cancer, you be feeling the feels. Allow yourself to mourn whatever you have lost. There was something else I was going to say and I totally forgot. Dang. But yeah, mourn. Allow yourself to mourn. Allow yourself to feel the loss and not beat yourself up about whatever it is that you are losing or about whatever it is that isn't working or whatever the case may be. Excuse me. Because when you do that for yourself, then you can make way for healing. And this is what this new moon is also about, healing, right? Like I said, with that trine to Chiron, there's definitely some deep healing happening. So allow that to come through. Okay? And embrace that you might not have all the answers. Okay? With the Ace of Swords in reverse here. Embrace that maybe sometimes your emotions aren't going to make sense to you. Or maybe, you're not going to know what to do next. You're not going to know what's to come. And that's okay. Cancer sometimes has difficulties with control as well. So be okay with not knowing. Be okay with being uncertain about what's going to happen next or results or anything of that nature. My dog just walked in. Hi, Tuffy. Be okay with that and embrace that uncertainty. Kind of like I'm feeling Fool energy. I am also feeling some tension in my womb. So some root chakra healing could help here too. If you have any trauma in regards to like, security, home insecurity, even maternal relationships, like childhood things kind of popping up. Allow those things to come through, like I said, because you're mourning things. Allow those things to come through and be okay with not knowing what kind of happens next. Be okay with not understanding maybe what it all means for you just yet, because these things do need to unfold, right? And lastly here, for how to be your more authentic self, we have 2 cards. We have the 6 of Swords. So lots of swords here. Lots of the ways that you think and speak to yourself, especially coming up. And then we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So what I'm getting because these 2 cards came out together. So what I'm feeling is that, be okay with letting things go when it's not working out. When it doesn't feel like when you can't make sense of it, when it doesn't feel good, when it doesn't, when it's not in alignment with what you are looking to create for yourself, right? Pentacles. Be okay with moving forward. Be okay with letting it go and moving on from certain things. Because, not everything is going to work out, and that's okay. But you don't want that to be something that is going to constantly stop you from moving forward, right? So allow yourself to move forward, especially when things just maybe don't work out, when it's not connecting with you anymore, or when it doesn't fit into what it is that you're looking to create. And this is beyond like just not knowing something, but this is like you attempting and trying and things still aren't working, and you've tried different things and things still aren't working. So it's like, okay, well, it's time to let it go. It's time to move forward. Also let go of actual physical things if you're still holding on to them that are from a time in your life that maybe wasn't the best emotionally, or if it's something from somebody or a situation that you're no longer in, or anything like that, just declutter. That's what I'm feeling. Declutter, release any physical things that no longer align with you. Don't hold on to things for nostalgia, right? That's what I'm feeling as well. And be more present that way. Okay, so don't be afraid to embrace letting go, right? Don't be afraid to embrace moving forward when things aren't working out for you anymore. Even if you don't know what's going to happen next, but anything that happens at your expense, and you're being genuine with your intention, and you're being honest and all of that stuff, if it's not like hitting, it's okay to move on. Okay, Cancers? Okay, because we have the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and this is just about being compassionate, being in this energy where you are okay expressing yourself emotionally, where you also provide space for others to express themselves emotionally, but you know that you don't have to take that on, but you can be there for people in certain ways, and know what's yours and know what's not, and not have that now start affecting you and what it is that you want and what it is that you do. Okay, Cancer? Okay. Y'all got it. All right. So, let's see now for Pisces. Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do you need to release during this new moon? Hold on, let me go close my door because my dog barged in here, and then they don't ever close the door, right? Okay. All right. So yes, Pisces. What do you all need to release during this new moon? Does Pisces need to release? Ooh! I'm gonna take that. What do you need to embrace? And how can you be your more authentic selves? Okay. Okay. Alrighty. The first card that came out here for what you need to release is the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So you might have Sag placements. Jupiter is also ruled, or Jupiter also rules Pisces in traditional astrology. So release the idea that you can't achieve abundance, like that abundance isn't for you. Release that. It may be hard to see right now where abundance has a place in your life. This feels like, of course, like scarcity, feeling kind of overwhelmed even by your circumstances, and not really knowing kind of where to put your energy, or even like just misdirecting your energy because it's almost kind of like too much and you're in over your head. Release that, okay? You are deserving of the things that you desire, and you have to put faith behind your actions. You have to put faith behind the ways that you speak to yourself and what you do, and your capabilities, because that is what will bring that abundance for you. But right now there's doubt in the way, there is insecurity in the way, there is scarcity in the way. So that makes it really difficult to do what you need to do or see what you need to see in order to attract this abundance for yourself, to welcome, to clear space and welcome in the blessings that you're looking for. So release that scarcity, release that lack mentality that you might be holding on to and you don't even know, right? Also release taking on way more than you can actually handle, if that's what's been happening too. Say no if you need to say no. It's okay to have these boundaries. It doesn't make you a bad person to say no, okay? And you don't have to prove your worth to people as well for them to respect you or for you to receive the abundance that you desire. All right? Because with what I feel you need to embrace, we have the Knight of Cups here in reverse. So, I feel like this is about embracing better boundaries. The Knight of Cups in reverse, when this pops up, generally it's usually like, kind of not allowing for newness, new love, new energy to come to you in that way, right? I feel like this is saying to embrace more boundaries, embrace knowing what is yours and what's not yours. You don't have to let everybody into your space if you don't want to. You don't have to save everybody either, right? This is what I also feel like this is saying. Stop putting yourself in predicaments where people aren't emotionally available, where they aren't receptive, where they aren't speaking their truths and being honest about their needs and what they require. Get away from doing all that. Get away from being the example for someone and showing them at your expense what that means to show up for yourself, or to show up for them and yourself, okay? And embrace more boundaries. There's nothing wrong with saying no. There's nothing wrong with telling people how to treat you and showing them how to treat you, okay? Because this is what keeps you protected. This is what keeps your energetic space safe, okay? And to go I love tarot, to go right hand in hand with that, to be your more authentic self with the King of Swords here. Speak up, right? And be direct about what it is that you're saying. Don't sometimes Pisces can be very poetic and in how they speak, and so then it comes off kind of vague, or it's not or it's not exactly what you are actually meaning to say. So be more direct. That doesn't mean be an asshole. That just means be more direct. be intentional with the words that you're choosing, because you're trying to convey a specific message, right? That's what I feel with the King of Swords here. And have confidence in that. Have confidence in affirming yourself. Speak to yourself with kindness and honesty. Breathe life into your ideas, into your abilities, into how you view yourself and how you talk to yourself. Okay, Pisces? Because if you don't do that for you, then no one else is going to do that for you. And that's how you get taken advantage of. So these are the things that you can do to truly protect yourself and still be the empathetic person that you are. Okay? Because, yeah, we have the Lovers in reverse at the bottom of the deck. So you might have Gemini placements. But this is about... This is about showing up for yourself. You know, the Lovers in reverse usually means like, you know, there's maybe a connection that isn't working out. But this is also about showing love to yourself. And so do more to show yourself some more love. And be honest about what you need and what that looks like. Alrighty? Okay. Thank you, water signs, for tuning in. I hope these messages resonate with you. And yeah, last but not least, we have the air signs. All right, air signs. Here we are. It's your turn. Okay. So let's start with Aquarius, because you are Leo's opposite. So Aquarius. What do you need? A sun, moon, rising, and Venus. What do you need to release during this new moon? Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to release during this new moon? What does Aquarius need to embrace? Interesting. And how can Aquarius be their more authentic self? Okay. Took a little while. Not surprised. All right. So, this is interesting. Oh, gosh, I hate that. Ugh. Okay, so the first card that came out was the Six of Swords in reverse, which I find really interesting because a lot of the time Aquarius is actually pretty good at detaching. But the reason for detachment is typically not the best. And I feel like that's what this is saying with the Six of Swords in reverse. Release detaching from people, from things out of anger. Release doing it from a place of insecurity or from a place of abandonment, right? Kind of like rejecting people before they can reject you kind of thing. Release detachment in a way that is like apathetic, right? Or in a way that is spiteful. Because sometimes Aquarius, I feel like you might think that you're just doing like the logical thing and that it's not really an emotional thing for you, but it probably is something that's a lot more emotional, and you're not allowing it to be addressed, whether it be with that person or situation or with yourself. You know, you just kind of like, all right, well, don't like that, bye. Like, you don't really kind of take the time to at least see why you're detaching this way, or why something triggered you to want to be apathetic and just be gone, right? So release that detachment, that form of apathetic detachment, right? Release apathy in general, as I feel like a lot of the times that really stifles you from acknowledging what you're feeling, because you're like, well, all right, I'm just not going to be here in this situation to feel this way, whatever, bye, peace. And you don't really address the feelings, but you're on to the next thing, or you're interacting with the next thing or whatever, and those things still don't get addressed, right? And that's what I feel like is coming up here with what you need to embrace with the Queen of Cups in reverse. Embrace recognizing when you're feeling insecure. Embrace recognizing when you aren't being compassionate. Embrace recognizing when you're triggered and when something makes you really feel some type of way, and you know, the first thing that you want to do is escape. Like, embrace understanding that that's what's happening, and stop denying the feelings to yourself, okay? Because you deserve to know what you're feeling and to feel yourself in that way, because that will allow you to process, that will allow you to remove or detach with compassion and with honesty and transparency, because you've allowed yourself to sit with what you're feeling, and you were honest, like, okay, this doesn't make me feel good, and I don't like that you did this, instead of just being like, well, whatever, bye. Like, that doesn't help you or them, and it's less about helping them. It's really about you, of course, right? But that doesn't help you to deny your feelings, okay? And the thing that is going to help you be your more authentic self is this Nine of Pentacles here, right? So I feel like this is like really commenting on like knowing like where your independence is rooted, right? Are you being independent because you're trying to prove people wrong? Are you being independent because you don't feel like you can depend on people? Are you being independent because this is how you're defining your life for yourself? This is what I want. This is how I'm going to bring these things to life for myself. Blah, 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 right? Those are different things. The last thing is it's coming from within you, and it starts with you. Those other two things are because of what others are projecting, or others have done, or what you've internalized from others. And that's where hyper independence is a trauma response, right? That's where feeling like you don't need anybody, and not reaching out to people and taking on everything yourself and being like, me, I'm independent, I don't need anyone, blah, blah, blah. Like, again, that apathy, right? That does not do you any good, and it leaves you isolated. So the ways that you can embrace yourself in a more authentic way is being real about your independence. Where is that coming from? Why is it so important to you, and what is that rooted in? Okay? Because when you do, with the Six of Wands and with the Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck, you know, this is a real victory, right? That's a real means of celebration. When you can embrace yourself in this way, when you can be real about what's going on within you, right? Because then that will bring the realness to you, that will bring the abundance to you, and all that good stuff. Okay? Okay, so let's do Gemini next. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do you need to release during this new moon? What does Gemini need to release during this new moon? What do Gemini need to embrace? And how can Gemini be their more authentic selves? Okay. Okay. The first card that came out here was the Queen of Wands. Normally the Queen of Wands is, you know, a good energy to embody. It's confidence. It's, you know, feeling good about yourself, feeling faithful and confident in your capabilities and what you can do. Also good sexual energy, and just feeling fine, right? What I feel that needs to be released is, this feels like an ego thing, right? Like, being honest about, or knowing when your ego is taking the wheel, right? Sometimes Gemini, you might get in conflict with people, or things might be tense with others because of the ways that you exert your will, right? That's also what I feel with the Queen of Wands here. How are you exerting your will upon others? Sometimes it can be not even forceful, but it can be kind of manipulative, where if you see that, okay, somebody's not doing what I want them to do, I will figure out a different way to get them to still do what I want them to do, right? That's a very egotistical thing. So release that need to kind of alter things so that it falls the way that you want it to, or so that what you want done gets done in the way that you want it, and things of that nature, right? Because that's just not a good energy to be in. And this is where that whole two-faced thing comes from with Gemini, because it's like, well, you said this, but then you did this, and then you said this, but then this happened, you know? So like, be real about your ego, keep that in check, and release when you notice that your ego is taking the wheel and it's kind of going off course. Okay? Because then after that, you know, what you need to embrace here with the Page of Swords in reverse is, again, not being self-serving in those ways. When it comes to the things that you say to people, what you do or don't say, right? Don't omit things because you want something done for you, but that thing you're omitting is stopping that thing from being done, right? Like, embrace kind of just being honest with people in that way, like in the sense of, like, if they aren't able to do something, or if they aren't receptive to you or whatever, be like, okay, that I don't like that, or this makes me feel this way, or let's discuss why. You know, don't let it be all about just what you need and what you want to get done and what you're trying to communicate, right? Embrace receptiveness. Embrace not needing everything to be the way that you want it, or on your terms, or whatever the case may be, because things aren't going to happen on your terms, and it gets hard to make connections with someone that you're unable to know where do they stand on things. What do you believe? Where is your integrity? Where does that lie? You know what I mean? And then to be your more authentic self, we have the Five of Cups here. And so usually the Five of Cups is like not being able to see the other opportunities still available to you, or the other options still available to you, because you're focusing too much on what didn't work. What I feel about this is kind of what I was just saying before. Being like, okay, I don't like this. Acknowledging, like, oh, this makes me feel this way. and being okay with just sitting with that, or being okay with expressing that, right? That is how you show who you are. You show that you do have emotions. You show that you do believe in something, or you stand firmly somewhere, that you're not just constantly whatever, going with the flow, whatever, it doesn't matter, whatever. But it does matter, but you do feel these things. So be real about that. Sometimes we do cry over spilled milk, and we need to cry first before we can clean up the milk, right? So it's just like, be real about what you're actually feeling, what you need from others, what you need for yourself, and be able to provide that for yourself still, even when things don't turn out the way you want them to be, or when things don't work out. Like, it's okay to be like, man, that sucks that didn't work out. Okay, so now let me go and try and figure something else out after that. Okay, Gemini. Yeah, because we have the Seven of Swords in reverse at the bottom of the deck, and this is basically like, stop trying to finesse and finagle, stop trying to be super clever all the time, and just be real and be honest and be here, be present. All right? Okay. And lastly, let's get into Libra. Libra, what's going on for you all during this new moon? Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Oh, excuse me, I am burping so much. Jeez. I'm not surprised though. I'm sure solar plexus energy is definitely needed and needs to be worked on, just as a collective. Right? Again, yellow, the sun, yellow is the color of the solar plexus chakra. So, motivation, all that stuff. All right. What does Libra need to release during this new moon? Interesting, nothing came out. Let's see. What does Libra need to release? Okay. What does Libra need to embrace? And how can Libra be their more authentic selves? Interesting. Okay. So the first card that came out here was the Nine of Cups. Release, what's the word? Release kind of this, the selfishness that you have about yourself and doing for yourself. Sometimes I feel like when emotions that come up, that you don't like to feel, you're just like, well, I don't like to feel this, so I'm just gonna not say anything, or I'm just going to be over here while that is kind of burning and move on to my next thing. Like, recognize where that kind of that hyper independence is coming from too. Similarly to Aquarius, like, but because you are ruled by Venus, I'm not surprised that the Nine of Cups came up. Whereas Aquarius is ruled by Uranus and Saturn, so the Nine of Pentacles came up. But still, this is about like how you fill up your own cups, right? What are your intentions as with filling up your own cups? Like, is it at others' expense? Are you using people? Are you, doing these kinds of things? Are you not being real about what you're actually feeling. Are you holding those things in, right? Because you don't want to mess up what you have going for yourself, or because you want to tip the scales in your favor, right? Release that. Release the need to do that. Release running away from what's coming up for you, because that's how those actions come into play, when you aren't being honest about how you're filling your cups up with yourself first, of course, and then with other people if other people are involved. And so when it comes to what needs to be embraced, we have the Magician here on its side. So you might have Gemini or Virgo placements. But think about again the why things fill your cups up the way that they do. Think about that when it comes to manifesting. What are you trying to create for yourself? What are you trying to bring to life? Why? What is the intention behind that? Because if it's based in something that is self-serving, if it's at the expense of other people, if it can potentially cause harm to other people, or if it's because it's coming from a selfish place or a place of scarcity, it's not going to manifest the way that you want it to, or it won't manifest at all, right? Because your intention isn't where it needs to be, or because you don't really know why you want to bring this to life for yourself, or where that need is coming from, right? So you have to be honest with yourself about these things as they come up, and allow yourself to actually work through them before you try to bring in something new, or find a way to get away from the feeling or get away from the situation, right? You have to be there. You have to be present. You have to work through those things and be honest about what you need, what you don't need, what needs to be released, and so forth, so that you can manifest and things can come to you that are for you, right? And so that's what being your authentic self, and with this 10 of Cups in reverse here, when you recognize that what you've been doing to fill up your cups isn't rooted in love, or it's not rooted in faith, or it's not rooted in truth and integrity, that makes them all spill out, right? That means that you have to reassess, reevaluate. Those things are changing, or those things are different now. So you have to recognize how that makes you feel, and what it looks like to receive those things, what it looks like for people to treat you these ways, or what it looks like to have this for yourself, right? How that will help you feel emotionally fulfilled. You have to be real about the ways that you are filling yourself up or not filling yourself up, right? So be honest with yourself about those things, because that will allow you to be honest with others, and you won't have to necessarily what's the word I'm looking for? Enforce these defense mechanisms of passivity, or of fleeing, or of abandonment, or anything like that, right? So just be real with yourself. Talk to yourself, talk to the people involved, and hold honest conversations in space for yourself, so that you can fill your cups up in the ways that you actually need them to be filled. Okay? Thank you very much, air signs, and thank you to everyone for making it to the end of this video. I hope you have a wonderful new moon. This Lionsgate portal is super powerful. The energy here to collaborate with spirit is immense. So definitely take the time to do that. Take some time for yourself. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share with the homies. If you want to book a reading with me, I am open for readings, and all of that information will be in the description box. You can also leave me a tip, and I will leave that in the description box as well. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you later.